Please rise for silent invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Foley.
Here.
Councilmember Tremont.
Here.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Here.
Mayor Burnett.
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the participation of Councilman Stiltner remotely while he's in quarantine?
So moved, Mayor. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Once again, Councilman Stiltner, you are officially with us. The fiscal year 2022 budget commences on October 1st, 2021 and continues through September 30th of 2022. This public hearing is now convened to discuss the millage rate and the budget. We will begin with the City of Port Orange Council discussion of the tentative millage necessary to fund the fiscal year 22 tentative budget for the City of Port Orange, the Community Development Agency and the Port Orange Town Center, and the Community Redevelopment Agency for Eastport Business Center. The tentative millage rate to be levied is 4.9362 mils per $1,000 of valuation and is an 11.2% increase in ad valorem tax revenues above the rollback rate. The rollback rate is 4.4633 mils per 1,000 evaluation. Mr. City Manager, would you or staff like to comment over the rollback rate and the specific purpose for the increase?
Yes, sir. To begin, we've met about 6 times over the course of the summer discussing the budget. And as we've discussed in those meetings, the principal reason for the proposed increase in the millage rate is tied to our implementation of Amendment 2, voter-approved act to raise the minimum wage for workers in the state of Florida to $15 an hour. In addition to that minimum wage rate increase, the millage rate also reflects additional staffing for our rec center as it opens next year, some firefighters to expand our transport 24 hours. That's the principal and specific purpose for that. At this point, I'll turn it over to our finance director, Robin Hayes, who will also go in more detail.
So we're talking about $15 minimum wage impact, we're talking about labor contracts that are open impact, and we're talking about the labor additions that we're talking about.
Yes, sir, substantially. It's personnel costs.
Okay.
Evening, Mayor,
Good
council
evening.
members, even remote. So I would like to just quickly run through the presentation that I provided to you and answer any of your questions. Again, as the city manager stated, we've had several meetings, so this data that I present to you tonight is not new. Okay. Sorry. Again, I'll note that the first public meeting tonight, 6:30, and that we'll ask that you set the second public meeting for 5:30, which you have stated in a previous meeting, but just state the obvious there. We have key factors that we built into the budget and developing it. Again, the city manager covered most of these, so I don't see a sense in restating them. But again, we're still in negotiations, so there are still changes yet to come. I did provide you some general information on the millage rate, and again, the city attorney may speak differently, so if I've spoken or stated anything incorrectly, I would ask that he speak up and tell me that. So what I've asked is that you consider setting the millage rate this evening at what we have proposed of the 4.9632 until the second and final budget hearing. If you set the millage rate tonight at 4.9632 mils, you may change that at the final meeting, and the final adoption of the millage rate is not really set until September 22nd. Information again we provided to you before, millage rate and the $1.1 million being spent toward the $15 an hour and some of the open positions that the city manager mentioned earlier. So again, this particular slide has been presented to you before. Next slide is the ballot language. Again, information that's been presented at our previous meetings. Again, just addressing the fact that we are bound to meet this mandate, and the mandate will continue into 2026. Options for our compensation, we've talked about this several times. This year we're attempting to move the standard employee that's at $10.48 to $12. That's about a $1.52 increase, and that's for all of our general fund age and non-union. And as you know, still in negotiation with our police and fire as to what that dollar will be for them. We've talked about positions being open, about positions filled, and we presented that information to you. Again, it was part of the budget book that we presented to you so that you can again see what is happening in each of the departments, and if you have such questions on those, we'll be glad to answer them. We provided you an updated proposed budget. I'll read these into record as I did last time. General fund, $45,406,841. CRA combined funds, $775,304. Debt service funds, $9,268,988. Special revenue, $8,282,828. Capital funds, $12,046,283. Enterprise funds, $49,642,242. Enterprise funds, again, your water, sewer, stormwater, sanitation, those funds. Those are your larger funds, and those are based on user fees. Again, I'll just mention on those funds, those are the funds in which you tend to have debt. We consider that good debt because we're spreading the debt among all of our users and not asking the ratepayers today to pay for the future or the future to pay for what happened in the past. So there's a tie-in to some of the things we do when we look at those funds. Internal service, we have $11,547,630. Total all funds, $136,970,116. 5-year fund balance. Speaking to the mayor earlier, you'll find your next to last page of your budget book stated 10-year. Originally, I was looking at 10 years. Changed to 5.
I had to go through the whole
Made a
book to
mistake.
find an error.
So I apologize for that. But what I found there was interesting. The prior 6 years prior to 2016, there was a lot of, there was more funds available at the year end. I can't tell you exactly why. I can look at the financials and tell you some of the information appeared that there was open positions. There was also less projects possibly worked. Again, we'd have to go and dive into that. But what I did find in the 5 years you see before you is really a steady process. You see 850,000, 836,000 in 2016 and 19 as the common. That was what was available. Let me rephrase that. So that's a basic fund balance available. You can see in 17 and 18 you used more than you had available at the end of the year. Storms, we had Irma, we had Matthew, and there may have been some other issues related to those. So again, from a perspective of looking at overall budgets on a fund balance, 2 to 7%, you're running a pretty lean ship, to be honest with you. I've worked in cities where they're flush. 7 to 15% is their ending fund balance, but 2 to 7 is a pretty lean. When you're looking at 800,000, that's not a lot of extra funding. Now that being said, you wonder why? Well, you have open positions. If you filled those positions, you have to pay those funds out. If you wish to use some of those funds for your future projects or even to reduce the funding, then when you actually fill the positions, then staff's going to be presenting you the budget amendments asking you to utilize fund balance. So again, I guess it's a choice at the end of the day, but it's pretty fair to say 2.5%, 2% is a pretty lean budget. You're sticking right to what you have available and what you put into the budget for your departments. If I were to look at a 5% spread, 30 to 35%, what's that 5%? Roughly $2 million, give or take, in any year. So if you're looking at putting $500,000 to the side for capital projects or a reserve or something to that effect, again, if you take $500 away from your $836 year before last, you're only looking at rolling $236,000 over. So again, you have options, but I believe the question to me was, please look at it, just give us your opinion, kind of look at the percentage and see if it falls within the feel of does it make sense, and it does. Again, I would say that some of the other cities, 2% we were happy. A lot of times we were running 3 or 4, but never really, except one city, we were running 7 to 15%. Different cities, different setups. So that's kind of a general information on fund balance. If you look at the restricted and then the unassigned, We've talked about what those are defined as. We are committed to GFOA requirements when we look at those numbers from the financials, and we keep those same logical assigned titles, if you want to look at it from that perspective, or definitions when we look at fund balance on general fund, or on budget. A few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, GFOA asked cities to look at budgets the same as we look at CAFRs, or now financials, because we didn't have the same title, we didn't have the same descriptions and the same definitions. So a lot of what you see now is the fact that we've tried to align those and set them up to be the same. So that's kind of my thought process on the fund balance. We can definitely spend more time between now and the 21st, 22nd, end of the month, whatever works for the council, as to whether there's more information needed. The next item is the City of Port Orange. The property appraiser puts together a wonderful package, wonderful documents available to our public, the 2021 preliminary tax roll. I bring this to your attention, and you have a copy before you, just because I think it's important to understand what the exemptions are, what the total assessed differentials are, and the fact that the just value for Port Orange was $6.2 million, and when you look at those two differentials exemptions, you're at $3.9 million. Again, they're the typical 25,000 homestead, additional homestead, and then there are several other exceptions to that, over 65 with exceptions to it as far as qualifying. This really comes into play again when you look at a trim bill. I was asked to just run through what each of the categories look like. So I'll just refer to where it says prior year, left center page, prior year tax rates and taxes. It's in the orange. And again, that's looking at last year. So if you look through there, you'll see Port Orange. We had a 4.6622 millage rate. And it gives the tax amount for a home that's $127,000 on the assessed value. If you look at this one, the market value is $207,000. I looked at 14,500 roughly homes in the city of Port Orange, and about 1,000 mobile homes. Looking at all those homes because they're all paying the same basic residential tax rate. So an average home of about $127,000 is a pretty fair. It's not the typical just a house, but it's the brick and mortar house as well as a mobile home, as well as any other type of home defined as. So I tried to combine all of those. They all have the same rate, and that's what we base this on. And then if you look at the center columns 5 and 6, those are looking at your proposed budget rate. That's your 4.9632. Again, for each of the county, the school board, St. John's, each of the agencies, whether they're dependent or independent. And then columns 7 and 8 are really looking at rollback. Well defined, well described, well put together on the property appraiser's site. Very impressed with what they put together out there. They really take a lot of time to explain your bill. You put in your parcel and you can see everything, and it just scrolls right down. Again, I just pulled one off the website with the help of one of our staff members, and so we provided that information to you. And I've run through that quickly, but I think, again, we've had several discussions in reference to budget up to now, and I have, I can answer any of your questions. If you'd like me to stay up here, I'll be glad to do that, Mayor, or if you'd like me to sit back and wait and answer questions as we go through the process.
Questions on what we just heard? There being none, why don't we get public comments before we close out this part of the agenda? Would anyone here care to speak to the item? Or in regard, come on up.
Yeah, I disagree with all of it.
Come on up.
You gotta come up there.
I disagree with all. I think what you should do,
I need you to tell me your name, where you live, for the record, please.
Lugina Mathis, 1122 Viking Drive, Port Orange.
Okay.
You have all these ideas, but they're not really planned out, because if they were, we're paying for, I hope, not $15 an hour now, whenever it's not going to be until 2026. So if you're saying we're paying 15, we're not paying 15. So right there, I think the percentage jumped way too high for us as people trying to just make ends meet after COVID, losing jobs and not getting qualifiable jobs. They're still not paying, I know that for sure, $15 an hour. They're paying you 10, maybe 9, maybe 11, but they'll pay you whatever they can get by with, and they get by with. So, you can't mandate that. The taxes that you're wanting to put in also low-income housing, which I really disagree with, because that's prime property by my house. And you're wanting to put in low income, which you're not getting any taxes from whatsoever because they're low income. And you're giving the property away, which is prime real estate, when it could be housing. So I disagree totally with that. We have had our street that needed water, sewage to be dispersed from it, which we were told we were going to get when the water bill went up and our taxes went up for that, which I haven't seen none of that, and our street is flooded when you can't even go through it. I keep complaining about Madeline and Nova, a left-hand turn. You can get killed there. You can be there 50 hours waiting to get a turn. That's uncalled for. I've never heard of such a thing. If you're going across 4 lanes of traffic and there's 2 lanes or 3 lanes coming at you, and there's a line of people from, schools letting out and everything else going on, and you've got all kinds of traffic there, people coming this way, people going that way. I can't believe there's not been total accidents there, like tremendously, people killed every day. And then you got bicycles coming and going, you gotta watch for that, and that crosswalk. There's not even enough crosswalks, signage, and you wonder why everybody gets killed. You need those lights on and saying that you have these people crossing. The little yellow lights that blink, 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 and they have to push them. And not, just saying, okay, well, I've got a way to go, and you start to go, and here somebody's coming at you on a bike, going the opposite way, and you've just made a plan to make a turn, and here they are right there. And my time's up.
Thanks, Legina.
Yeah.
Appreciate
That
you.
didn't even start.
Anyone here else? Anyone else? Back to council. Before we move on to the resolutions, any comments or statements now to be made? If not, we'll move on to item 5. I think I have more windows open. There we go. Apologies, this is meeting number 4, and I've got too many windows open. Item 5 is resolution, come on, here we go. Resolution 2136 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative ad valorem property tax millage rates to be levied for fiscal year 2022, which is October 1st, 2021, December 30th of 2022, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve resolution number 21-36.
Second?
You want to go ahead and read the whole thing here?
Yeah.
You got your script?
Oh. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I was doing the electronic one.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so agenda item 5. Move to approve resolution number 21-36, adopting the City of Port Orange fiscal year 2022 tentative millage rate of 4.9362 mils per thousand evaluation, which represents an 11.20% increase in ad valorem tax revenues above the rollback rate of 4.4633. The adopted tentative millage rate of 4.9362 mils per thousand evaluation is an 11.2% increase in ad valorem tax revenues above the rollback rate of 4.4633.
I'll still read that when we're done. May I have a second to the motion?
Second.
The motion for Resolution 21-36 is on the floor and open for discussion. Council? Anyone?
Mayor?
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because as I'm hearing Drew read that, I thought I was hearing him say 4.9362, and it's actually 4.9632 is what's written in the resolution.
He's right, it's,
It is, yeah.
there a
no, that's
there's a
correct.
typo on the,
It's a good
paper.
catch.
okay, should I reread it or just change?
Well, what I read,
Yours was 4.96.
Nice catch, Scott.
Yep, it's a
yeah,
typo.
what he did was he actually read the announcement that I was supposed to read after we passed it, which would have been wrong. So that is supposed to be 4.9632, two transposed numbers. So the motion is, the resolution is at 4.96322, and that was what you second, Jonathan?
Yes.
Would anyone, any other council comments? Good catch, Scott.
Thanks.
Would anyone here care to speak to this resolution? Back to council, any final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No,
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes,
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-2. The adopted tentative millage rate of 4.9632 mils per 1,000 evaluation is an 11.2% increase in the ad valorem revenues above rollback rate of 4.4633. Item 6 is Resolution 21-37. Resolution 21-37 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative operating budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022 for the City of Port Orange, setting forth anticipated sources of revenue in the estimated amount of $122,038,069, setting forth expenditures in an equivalent amount, providing for appropriation procedures, and providing for an effective date. Correct. Drew, can I get a,
I'm sorry, I'm making a note here. Apologize. Move to approve resolution number 21-37, adopting the City of Port Orange fiscal year 2022 tentative operating budget.
Second.
we have a motion, proper second. The item's open on the floor for discussion. Council comments? There being none, anyone care to speak to the item? Come on up.
This will be the only one. I have a lot of questions on that. They're saying the operating budget, and that's the operating of everything in the civic center to the rec center to, I mean, the way I understand it, when I was looking at the projections, that you need this much to run different things and employees and
Yeah.
everything. Why can't you put, like, you have a nice area here in the rec center that's going to, why isn't there a charge that you could get money coming in from different parties or different people and open it up to, you know, people coming in and renting it out for, you know, anything that they want to rent it out for, birthday parties or whatever, you can tax them. You know, instead of relying on us that's around here that, like I said, can't afford another tax hike, plus our insurance went up another $1,000 on our homes. You're gonna force us to move out of the nice area that I wouldn't mind paying $20, a month or something to go to the rec center. You know, I'm sure there's a legit price that you can pay instead of just free to all. You know, homeowners with children, so much price a year, you know. Just like the YMCA, you know, gets a certain price per year. Or like you have activities. You have a beautiful auditorium up here. Why isn't there more music? Why isn't there more outings that you can use money on? Like Ormond Beach, every time they have an outing up there, you gotta pay. There's the food, you know, courts or whatever that come in, the food people. You pay at their little center there, that park thing, $15, and people go in there like crazy. It's a fun time. You walk around, it's beautiful. They have music there, they have a band. You pay, I don't know what it was, $20 a person. And I paid it because it was nice. You had the trucks, you had, fun games and people with, what do you call it? They stand up, you had that little October thing going on with, vendors, but I didn't pay anything. You had a ghost house up here. I didn't pay anything. Why not have people pay for different things? The rec center, or to use this or to use that. I think you're missing out. There's a lot of money involved in that.
Thank you. Anyone else? There being none, back to council. Comments? There being none, call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-2. Item 7 is Resolution 21-38.
Whoa.
Thank you, Robin. I guess I was on borrowed time.
I'm sure y'all are awake.
There we go. Really? Resolution 21-38 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative capital budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2021 through September 30th of 22 for the City of Port Orange, setting forth anticipated sources of revenue in the amount of $14,156,743, setting forth expenditures in equivalent amount, providing for appropriation expenditures, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move motion to approve resolution number 21-38, adopting the City of Port Orange fiscal year 2022 tentative capital budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second for approval of the capital budget. Council comments? There being none, anyone care to speak to this item? There being none, council final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
Yes.
Councilmember Stiltner,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes. 5-0. Item 8 is resolution number 21-39, a resolution of the City of Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative ad valorem property tax millage rate to be levied for the Community Development Redevelopment Agency for the Port Orange Town Center Tax Increment District for fiscal year 2022, which is October 1st of 2021 to September 30th of 2022, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve resolution number 21-39, adopting the Community Redevelopment Agency for Port Orange Town Center fiscal year 2022 tentative millage rate of 4.9632 mils per 1,000 of valuation.
May I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second. The item is open on the floor for discussion. Council comments or questions? There being none, anyone here care to speak to this item? There being none, final comments, council?
All good.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-2. Resolution 21-40 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative Community Redevelopment Agency for Port Orange Town Center Tax Increment District operating budget for fiscal year starts October 1st of 2021 through September 30th of 2022, setting forth anticipated sources of revenue in the estimated amount of $493,633, setting forth an expenditures in equivalent amount, providing for appropriation procedures, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve resolution number 21-40, adopting the Community Redevelopment Agency for Port Orange Town Center fiscal year 2022 tentative operating budget.
Second.
We have a motion, proper second. The item is open on the floor for discussion. Council comments, questions? There being none, anyone care to speak on the Town Center CRA? There being none, council, final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-2. Item 10 is Resolution 21-41, which is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative property and ad valorem tax millage rate to be levied to the Community Redevelopment Agency for Eastport Business Center Tax Increment District for fiscal year 2022, which is October 1st, 2021 through September 30th of 2022, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve resolution number 21-41, adopting the Community Redevelopment Agency for Eastport Business Center fiscal year 2022 tentative millage rate of 4.9632 mils per 1,000 evaluation.
Second.
A motion, proper second, on the Eastport millage. Item is open on the floor for discussion. Council comments? There being none, would anyone care to speak on the Eastport CRA? There being none. Council, final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-2. Item 11 is Resolution 21-42. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative Community Redevelopment Agency Eastports Business Center Tax Increment District operating budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2021 through September 30th of 2022, setting forth anticipated sources of revenue in the estimated amount of $281,671, setting forth expenditures in equivalent amount, providing for appropriation procedures, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to
Oh, sorry.
Motion to approve resolution number 21-42, adopting the Community Redevelopment Agency for Eastport Business Center fiscal year 2022 tentative operating budget.
Second.
The item is open on the floor for discussion, the operating budget for the Eastport CRA. Council comments or questions? There are none. We've only had 6 meetings about this. Public comments on the operating budget for the Eastport CRA. There being none, back to council. Final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Stiltner,
No.
is that a no?
No.
Vice Mayor Bastian,
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes. Scott, you're saying that yes, you were voting no?
No.
He's got a little cough there.
Sorry about that.
3-2. I need a motion to direct the city clerk to publish an advertisement providing notice of the City of Port Orange City Council's intent to adopt the final millage rate and operating and capital budget for the City of Port Orange, the Community Redevelopment Agency of Port Orange Town Center, and the Community Redevelopment Agency for Eastport Business Center, complying with the budget summary requirements of the law. May I have such motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
You're not going to repeat that? I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't hear, I think I've heard all 5 now. Motion carries. In addition to the foregoing general operating budget millage levy, there is a voter-approved millage levy of 0.2284 mils to fund the debt service for the 2016 general obligation refunding bonds issued for public safety capital facilities. A public hearing will be held on September 22nd, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers at City Hall, 1000 City Center Circle, Port Orange, Florida, to discuss and adopt a final millage rate, the final operating and final capital budget for fiscal year 2022 for the City of Port Orange, the Community Redevelopment Agency for Port Orange Town Center, and the Community Redevelopment Agency for the Eastport Business Center. With that, is there any other business come before us this evening? Mr. City Attorney, did I cover everything?
I just want to check, Mayor, before we close, the announcement on the millage levy. It looks like we got, this might have been before it was updated, so I just want to confirm with our finance director, the millage this is for the debt service for the 2016 general obligation fund, and that changes year over year. I just want to make sure we have the correct millage there, because it looks like we had an old version there when we went to make a change later on this afternoon.
So we did record, it was .2284. That is what was presented back
Okay.
in July, as set at the maximum. So that is the millage rate that will have to be adopted at. If there's a difference between that and the millage rate that's actually covering the debt service, then the general fund would have to actually take care of that. So.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll reconvene in 2 weeks to do this all over again. Have a good night, everybody.